We're here with Northshore head coach Mike Bourg, coming off of trip to the playoffs. Coach, I guess I'm gonna make you the same promise I made Coach Salter. It's the last time I'll mention last year's team.
Yeah.
But first time in almost a decade making the playoffs.
Yeah.
So many things you have to replace. There was a great signing day that was here because a lot of those kids ended up playing college scholarships.
Yeah.
How do you replace a Walter Harris, a Fleming?
That's tough.
How do you do it?
Well, I will tell you, in the past is, when you lose a good player, and we lost 3 DBs that all 3 are going to play college football or playing college football, and got to replace them. But, basically it's, the next man up, and we have, I think, a couple good. We got one for instance, like Noah Marquez. Noah's, he started last year strong safety, and now he's kind of playing like the free safety position, and he's really strong. And so I think by having him back there and having the experience he got last year, I think he's going to be that much better this year, and I think he's going to help the other guys who may not have as much experience. How you replace. You said how do you replace a Walter Harris? You don't. I mean, Walter was a special kid. I think people realize now how good Walter was. He did some good things. We're different this year, if that makes sense. I think Mike Benedict has a chance, to be our starting quarterback. Right now, he's getting reps as our starting quarterback. I think Mike's going to be okay. I don't think he's going to be Walter. 2 different kind of players.
But you're not asking him to be Walter.
I'm not going to. And I don't want to ask him to say, look, I need you to do what Walter. He's not going to do what Walter did because they're 2 different kind of. Mike's 6'6", 6'7". Mike's going to be, I think, good at handing the ball off and then faking the handoff and throwing off of that in play action. I think he doesn't necessarily give us the run threat that Walter did. I mean, Walter was our leading rusher. But I think that our running backs that we have, we got running backs with 3 that's going to have 2 years of experience going in their 3rd year. They're coming in as starters as sophomores with Dwayne Jones and Brandon Bounds. And Brandon looked really good in the spring. Dwayne couldn't play in the spring, but Brandon looked really good in the spring. I think we need to rely a little bit more maybe on that part of the running game, is our running backs running the ball, and then play action off of it. Mike doing some things off of that, and I think Mike might do some things better than Walter. I think Mike. I think he throws the ball at times. He throws the ball well. I think Mike's going to do some good things, and Mike can run the football. I mean, he takes a stride. He picks up 4 yards on one stride. I mean, he's a long, strong. I just think that people will underestimate maybe Mike's running ability, and I hope they do. I hope they underestimate him because I think Mike will surprise them some, and run the ball some.
Who's he going to be throwing the ball to? You're not known for, you don't have wide receivers with a lot of big numbers, but when you do that play action, and, who's he throwing the ball to?
Well, I think, to me right now, our best receiver is Marcus Clay. Marcus Clay was a starter last year for me. Not a real big kid, but Marcus runs really good routes. He's got decent speed. He runs pretty well. He's got really good hands. But he to me, he's our leader out there as far as receivers. We got Hassan Mitchell, who's a transfer last year from Northshore High, and Davey came in and he didn't know how offense he had. He was he got a little bit of playing time. But he stepped in this year at the beginning, all the way through spring and everything, and it's really done really well. He'll be that slot receiver, that inside guy. Marcus is more the outside guy. Cade Fleetwood's the other receiver who who Cade is, he's a returning starter. He started last year and played a lot. Another kid that runs really good routes, and he does a really good job of blocking, and so we got experience at receivers. Dwayne Jones, who mainly was just a running back last year, he'll actually probably play more. He'll start at that spot that Cole Cabela played for us last year. Then you have that H-back,
that tight end hybrid,
where he's a receiver slash tight end hybrid type of player. He's got to be able to block. He showed me some good things in the spring to do that. But he also will be playing at the running back position, especially when we go two backs in the backfield. And then, we put a couple of things in where we can try to get Dwayne the ball out as a receiver too. He's shown me that he's a better receiver now than he was last year. He's catching the ball. He's doing some good things on route running and stuff. So I think Dwayne is going to be very good there. I think it makes us better, David, when you got where I can keep both of them on the field at the same time. And then you got Terrius Crawford, who Terrius as a sophomore last year got some playing time on offense. When he touches the ball, he makes things happen. He'll be a starter on defense, but he'll get some reps on offense because he's a dynamic football player. So I'm looking for big things out of him. But our bread and butter is going to be run the football with Brandon and Dwayne, I believe, and then little quick game stuff with Mike at quarterback because I think our receivers have experience, and then the play action off the run game.
To do any of this, to do any of this offensively, you've got to have time to do it.
Oh yeah,
your offensive line. It's imperative to have good offensive line play. Talk about some of the players that you're going to have to count on to give Mike protection and open up the holes for Brandon and Dwayne.
Well, we got four really, I would say 4 starters back. And in a sense of, okay, so right now at center, Jacob Tamburella, okay, he got hurt last year. He was a starter for us until he went down. So he missed all the season, but pretty much, but he's I would say he's a returning starter. At guards, I think is probably our strength of our team. We have both of them with experience. Kenny Trent, who's a next level player, and then Jarvis Jones, who, if Jarvis was Kenny's size, would be a next level player. But those two are probably our strength of our team is Jarvis Jones and Kenny Trent. We're an A-gap running team. We start off in the A-gap and we'll work our way out a little bit, but we got to be solid in the middle. And with those two guys and with Tamburella at center, I think we're pretty solid. Then you got Clayton Tebbs, who's a returning starter at right tackle, who I think is looks good so far this year, and I thought he was a pretty solid player for us last year. Then, our question mark right now is left tackle. We got a couple kids working there that I think are going to be all right. They're young and don't have a lot of experience. Daniel Slocum is one kid that's going to be a sophomore that I just think he's going to be a really good football player. Is he ready as a sophomore? I don't know yet on a varsity level because obviously our left tackle, our schedule's pretty tough, and he's going to have to be really good at left tackle. Or is he a year away? I don't know. We'll find out. But then we got Jacob Everett, who I think is a kid that played as a freshman, didn't play as a sophomore, and then wanted to come back and play as a junior. So he don't have an experience. But if we had to pencil him in, he's probably our starter right there. You got Mason Erickson, who is a kid that is going to be a junior. Who I think Mason can help us up on the front line too. Start off, we're going to try to give him a shot at defense. He's an offensive lineman, and I think he had a brother here that played for me, Dylan Erickson, who was an all-world power lifter, and Mason's kind of the same way. He's a strong kid who could be a pretty good offensive lineman. So I think he's going to get some reps. I think we got to find that fifth guy, and then that backup guy who can go and play kind of anywhere. Mason can snap the ball too, and if he can, we can move Tamborell out there. Brandon Crumb's, Glenn Rivera's boy, his stepson. He's a kid that is going to be a sophomore that I think is going to be a really good football player. Is he ready, or is he still a year away? I think 100% he's a solid JV guy at center, or even on the defensive side too if we wanted him. So I'm okay with the offensive line. I think we're going to be okay. We just got to find that right now, varsity-wise, kind of that fifth guy, at that tackle.
When we talked after the spring game against Lakeshore, you talked about how defense, switching to defense here, the defense still has some ways to go because you were in the infancy. You were in the installation phase, and it was still, okay, when coach says this, I got to know where to line up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Compare where you were when we talked at the end of the spring game to where you are now. Do you like the improvement, and has there been positive improvement?
Absolutely, there's been positive improvement. I think the kids are picking up, especially the DBs. I mean, we had a lot of stuff to put in. One of the biggest things too, and you noticed, Dave, in the spring, we had probably, I think, might be one of our best football players on this football team not even playing, Kershaw Fisher. He's a kid that's going to be he's going to be a D1 football player. He's got a lot of interest in some big schools right now. Some big schools have interest in him. Wasn't even on the field. I mean, it was night and day when he's on the field at defensive end. And then we picked up a transfer from John Curtis and Drake Brantley, who wasn't in the spring football game. Drake Brantley is going to make us better. So I would tell you, just with those two guys, I think we're a different football team. So I would say just because they weren't playing, we were different, and plus they know more now. They're understanding the defense and what Josh is putting in, and Coach Buell's doing a great job. He's got a defense that he 100% believes in. It's his defense. He knows how to run it, and the kids are buying into it. Our 7-on-7's got better. Practices are better, where the kids are picking up what to do and understanding. I think we have a chance to be pretty solid on defense. I really do.
My last question. I thought it was interesting when I talked to Dwayne earlier. He said a lot of the players on the team like the taste in their mouth that they got going to the postseason, because it was the first time for any of them.
Absolutely.
And they want that feeling again.
Good.
How much of that experience of, okay, this is what it's like to play a Week 11, how much do you hope that experience from last year will benefit this year's team?
I think it benefited big time. And, we got, 23 seniors this year. It might be one of the biggest senior classes that I've had here. I've always averaged around 20 kids, 20 seniors, which is a good number. But this senior class is it's a little bit bigger, and we have kids that have been in this program for 3 years and understand what it takes and understand what we're looking for, and what I'm looking for as a head coach, and I think that is something you can't measure. I think that's something that the kids, even though we're defensively we're trying to buy into a totally new scheme and stuff, and they're doing that now. I just think overall as seniors, that this is a good group who with experience now as a playoff team will help us, because they know what it takes to get back to the playoffs. And I think, and a lot of these kids played against Zachary last year and know that, man, these guys, they won a state championship in the highest level in 5A, and we played with these guys. I think, you look at a kid like Kershaw and Fisher. Kershaw, he don't really care that they're the state champs. I think Kershaw's going to come out and say, man, I'm going to show them that I can play with the best. And I think that we have that mentality. Evan Savage and Hunter Gill, our two inside backers, that were, that have been starting sophomore, junior, and now they go into their senior year. Those two kids are leaders on this team. I think those two kids are kids that could be captains on this team. But they know what it takes to get the job done, and they know how tough our district is, and they know that it's a war every week. I think they're going to be ready. I think they're going to step up to the challenge. And I think having that year of experience, being a playoff team, is 100%. It can't hurt them. I mean,
right.
It's a benefit that they had that year. And look, to lose the way we did, and to go out and battle, maybe they're the group that says, you know what, we're gonna win a playoff game. We're gonna go to the next level, and we're gonna do it. But we're gonna win a playoff game. We're not just gonna get there. Last year was us just getting there and playing their butts off. And I couldn't have been more proud of a group of young men than I was of that team last year. How they battled, being down 21-0 and coming back and going to double overtime with the number 5 team in the state. A lot of these seniors played in that game, so they know that it was a battle, and they know that they want to get back there, but they want to win it this time, and
not just happy to be there.
Not just, I think that's the biggest thing. Not just happy to say, man, we made the playoffs. We got 23 seniors on this team that want to win and make it to the second round of the playoffs and win that game. And I think, with a couple of the younger guys mixed in there, I think this is a team that, we could be, if we get some breaks, here and there, I think we could be a decent football team. I know one thing, we'll do like we did last year. But more than anything, they're going to know they're winning a fight. I mean, they're going to know they're winning a football game. We lost 4 out of the 5 losses we had in regular season. 4 of those were by less than 7 points, 7 or less. And then the one with Zachary, was 7-7 at halftime. So they know how to battle. We just got to find a way to get over that hump,